Hey honey bunnies, if you want to see how I did this glam candy unicorn look, something from another dimension type being, then please keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Hey, welcome back guys. First things first, we're going to be concealing our brows. And I'm going to be using the Elmer's washable glue stick, and this is the purple one so I can see where I'm placing it. I'm just pushing that through my hairs. And then using warm water, I'm just taking that on my fingertips and very lightly around the edges, smoothing out those edges that are kind of sticking up so that we don't have any cakiness. And then going through with any translucent or coverall powder. I'm going to just be using that with a sponge, pushing that into my brows to give it like a second layer of skin. You want to make sure that you are powdering the glue because the glue is still technically a little tacky. It does dry, but you want to make sure that you're giving it more coverage prior to putting on concealer. Next, I'm going to be using a hard candy concealer. And for me, it doesn't really matter what shade I'm using, but if you're going to be doing this for more of a neutral shade, like one for your skin tone, you want to use as close to your skin tone as possible. And I'm just taking that and patting that through the brows and very lightly around the edges, brushing it up just to blend it out with my fingertips. And then the last step for me is just taking some more translucent powder. I'm using an NYX translucent powder this time, and I'm just concealing and as well as setting that concealer. I want to make sure that everything is nice and dry before I go on to my water-based paint. Now, I did this off camera, but I went and I used the Mehron Basics palette, and I wanted to know where I was putting this. I got this idea from Miss Jordan Hans as well as Raw Beauty Kirsty. If you're not subscribed to them, go and check them out. They did a beautiful not candy, but like ice cream unicorn, and it came out so wonderful. But I wanted to take a different route with it. That was where my inspiration came from. But I wanted to do a kind of mystic, almost space type candy unicorn, something that you really wouldn't see on a normal basis, just for Halloween and for fun. But all I'm doing here is just going around where I already put the white paint for my candy drips. And I just am going with any brown shade. And you're just going to go around and you want to give it dimension. And I'm taking a very small brush and I'm going around and just shading around the edges to make it look as if there's a shadow where the melt is on my face. And then wherever I've made any kind of mistakes, I go back with that water activated paint, the white one from the Basics from Mehron. And I'm just going through and just fixing up my edges so that it looks as crisp as possible. And then using that same white from the Mehron Basics palette, I'm just going through and just adding more color, basically just wherever I see a little bit of splotchiness or spots, and just to make it look as opaque as possible. Next, using a blending brush, I'm going to be going in with the My Little Pony palette. I'm going to be using Generosity and just going around where all those harsh edges were. And I'm just going to go through, and just like with a transition, when you're going to go back and blend out your crease, I'm going to go around and I'm treating these edges as if I was blending out my crease. And this is very close to my natural skin tone, so I'm just going around and I'm just feathering it out so that I can lighten up the darkness and make it look a little more natural as it transitions down the face. Now using Ice Cold, which is a Skin Frost from Jeffree Star, and a domed powder brush, I'm just going to be putting that onto the white water activated paint by Mehron, and just to give it a little bit of dimension and shine. And I'm going to build this up also with other shimmery colors here in a second. But this is a good technique because if you have any kind of spots or splotchiness, it's going to definitely add a reflective quality to it. And then using a blending brush, I'm just going to go into that little portion around my nose just so I can put a lot of precision into where I want this product to go. Then using Lavender Snow, which is also Skin Frost from Jeffree Star, I'm going to take that and add that as well to the white candy drip. And what this is going to do is this is going to add a little bit of dimension to the actual, like to make it look like it has different shadows on it, because this is more of a purple. It's still shimmery, but as you can see, the look, it's starting to look like it's actually sitting on my face. It doesn't look so flat. It looks more like it's coming to life in a way. Off camera, I did place, using Pinkie Pie from the My Little Pony palette with an angled brush, I placed little lines on my drip, basically, to make it look like sprinkles. And then using my eyelash glue, I'm going over them. And I'm going to be taking these tubular kind of beads that I had in my craft container, and I'm going to add those on there. These are like reddish pink colored ones. I'm adding those on top to give it more of a dimension, as if those are actual sprinkles on my face. Because sprinkles are candy too, come on now. And then going in with a blue shade from the My Little Pony. This is Rainbow Dash, and I'm just doing the exact same thing with that angled brush. And I'm adding little tiny marks, and then I'll go back with the eyelash glue. And these are just markers. I recommend this highly, because what this is going to do is it's going to let you know exactly where you want to place them. You can freehand it as well, but I recommend this especially if you're a beginner. And then going through and adding some blue. These are like an icy blue kind of color. And they actually, believe it or not, look like sprinkles. If you're not looking at the top or bottom, they look like sprinkles. Now, I do recommend when doing this process to get a really good pair of tweezers, because you're going to need them to place them on there. Otherwise, it's going to drive you crazy not using something that has such precision to it. And then I'm just going in and I'm using a combination of Mint Condition and Lavender Snow from Jeffree Star. These are his Skin Frosts. And I had an idea when I did this, is that this is my first time working with water-activated paints. So I thought, well, just like with foundation, this would give a little bit of luminosity underneath the actual water-activated paint. And as you can see off camera, I actually started putting on the prosthetics that I made, the unicorn. This is a white chocolate unicorn with candy sprinkles on it. It's got like some sugary sprinkles on it, as well as a candy bar, and I've made some lollipops, and I made the ears, and I just went all out. And then on the side of the face there's a gummy worm. But right here all I'm doing is using the white and the blue from the Mehron Basics water activated paint set, and I just mix them together in pan because they're so easy to clean out. And I just, using a small concealer, going through after I've already put all the prosthetics on my face. Mind you, I wish I would have waited and put these on after. I did not know, again, how they were going to react with the water-activated paint because I have not used them before. It's my first time, again, using water-activated paints. I'm used to like cream products, and I know that with cream products, you have to place everything down first because the glue is not going to stick. Now for these, eyelash glue worked great. I did not have to go through, and I did not have to use any kind of spirit gum, because spirit gum was giving me a hard time. Yeah, so I just used my Kiss eyelash glue. It's the strip lash adhesive. I like it because it does not have formaldehyde in it. But yeah, it's really, really good, and it holds those prosthetics in place. But as you can see, I'm just going and tracing around all my prosthetics and basically just covering my face blue. And I continue this process. And you have to be really careful. Like I said, my recommendation, do this before. If you're using water-activated paints, do this process before you put those on. And eyelash glue will stick to them. You will not have an issue whatsoever. The only one that I had an issue with out of all my prosthetics was the horn, the white chocolate horn. And that was because these are not heavy. I use these using Model Magic. It's very light. It's very easy. It dries very quickly. It's not heavy. But the problem is that I guess the horn was too big. I don't know, it didn't work out very well. So I had to add a little bit of liquid latex to it. And believe it or not, around the edges, liquid latex worked amazing. Now I'm just going to be taking the Mint Condition. I was just going to highlight my high points, but heck no, we're just going to go all out. With Mint Condition from Jeffree Star Cosmetics as a skin frost again, I am going to cover that over my entire face. Now the reason doing this is because, again, I put it underneath because I thought that it was going to act as a luminosity kind of thing, and it didn't. So I wanted to add that luminosity back to the blue. And then I'm just continuing and putting this on. Also, if you want to, you don't have to, but as you see in the video, I did make sure that I added a little bit of highlights on the tips of my ears. I mean, I pre-painted these prior to. You don't have to do that. I just thought it was cute, and it actually gave them a little bit more dimension. Now, I'm just going back in with the My Little Pony palette, and the colors that I actually used in this palette are the Songbird Serenade, and I use a little bit of Honesty and then Generosity, and I'm going back around the edges because after putting the blue color down, what ended up happening is it smeared a lot of my shadowing, so now I have to reshadow everything. Again, this is a very, very tedious process. And then now it's time to contour. Come on. What kind of unicorn is going to contour with regular colors? I am using Pinkie Pie, and I'm going to be contouring. I tried with an angled brush, it didn't work too well, so I just tried it with a fluffy one. I'm doing my 3-point contour. I'm just bringing down my neck, and it made this beautiful, like luminous kind of purple, blue, pink color on my neck. Looks so pretty. And what you do on one side, you must do on the other. And I brought it down just a little bit past where my normal contour, just to give more of a structured face. Nothing is wrong in this look. Be creative. Do what you want. Change it how you want. You know, be you. Let your creativity flow with this idea. Now, my camera decided to be a butthead, so I did my one eye off camera, and I darkened up the nose to give it a little more dimension. And now I'm just going in with the My Little Pony palette again, and I'm going to show you what I did from one eye to the next. And I'm going in with Songbird Serenade. I'm just going through and right over the water activated. That's the great thing about these. The powder works great over them. Then I noticed on one side, I am such a perfectionist. What I did on one side, I'm like, oh, well, this one's up too high, so I gotta go do it on the other side again. I keep going back and forth. Don't ask me why. It's just something. It's a problem. And then I'm going to be going in with Pinkie Pie, and I'm going to put that on the first 1/2 of my eyelid. Now, the thing with this is that I wanted to bring the eyelid up a little more because I have very small eyes. And then I also, on the second half, I use Magic, which is a purple, because they're going for pink and purple. And these are just the base underneath the glitter. And I just basically take Pinkie Pie and run that completely underneath my lash line, my lower lash line. Because she's so blue, I wanted to give her a little bit of pink and purple dimension to her face, because this is a pink, purple, blue unicorn. That was my original concept with her. And then just going in and deepening up the crease and the outer V. Just going back in with that song Serenade. And adding a little more. I want it to be a little more vibrant before I put on the glitter. I kept bumping my prosthetics, so I'm just like, oh God, don't fall off, please. And then with the Morphe 35 matte, I'm going to go in with this gray taupey kind of brown. And I want to deepen that new crease up. And because I'm trying to erase where the brow is, I'm kind of like, that's why I brought it up so high. I'm just like, no, you have to go up, you have to change it. And then normally we would, you know, take a transition color, but because she's blue, I went in with Rainbow Dash, and that was what I used to blend out the actual new crease. That horn was just not wanting to stay up. Believe it or not, that chocolate bar is what helped me keep it up, because what ended up happening is that's when I had to put some liquid latex. And once I put more liquid latex, it actually stuck. Now using the NYX glitter glue, it's the glitter glue primer. I'm just going to put that all over my lid and a little bit up above my lid, like into where the crease is, so that I can bring it up to make the eyelid appear larger. And then using a pink off-brand glitter. This is an iridescent pink glitter. I'm just going to put that on the first half of my eyelid. And then I go in with a purple one. I love these glitters. They're so finely milled, but they're so freaking pretty. And the iridescence when the light hits them, look at that. Come on, it's gorgeous. I just have such sensitive eyes, so I don't do glitter too often. Because even, you know, even though they're eye safe, they annoy my eyes so bad. And come on, there's never enough glitter. Glitter, glitter, so much glitter. And then I like to go in with some lashes. These are the dark Maiden. I got these from Target. I did those off camera, and I decided she needed more sprinkles. The top of her face is so festive, but the bottom of her face has nothing. So we did some glitter glue and a few of those sprinkles, alternating colors from the pink red to the light icy blue. And then I decided, hey, let's put some random ones around the face. And I go through and just randomize it. Like I said, you don't have to always make marks because you just eyeball it, and whatever feels good for you, just, you know, let the creativity flow. Using tweezers, I'm just picking them up off the table and putting them on my face. Make sure that when you put them on, you take your little finger and you just make sure they're pressed on, because you don't want to think they're on and then they fall off and you're like, where did it go? Now, just like with your eyelash glue, like what just happened, just like with your eyelash glue, these will last. Just be careful, don't bump them, and you know, you can also put a setting spray over this like I did. Now, next thing I'm going to be using Dolly Pink. This is an MYX lip liner just as a base. I thought this was going to be it in some gloss, but it's just too pink. For the blue, it just looks way too pink. So I decided to go in with an Essie. This is a darker pink, almost like mauve kind of lip liner. And this is going to be the great base for the liquid lipstick we're going to use. Then using a liquid lipstick from Tattoo Junkie. This is Miss Popular. It's so gorgeous. It dries so quickly. It lasts all day. I'm going to put that on my lips. Later I go over with a Wet n Wild Chrysanthemums The Word lip gloss, a little bit of glitter, and just decide to bedazzle her up. But I do that off camera. Then I go back and just lip line it and bring the lip liner in just to make sure that there's no demarcation line. Now all you do is add your wig. Now my wig got a little messed up because of the green in it, so I'm a little transparent here, but it makes me look more futuristic. But you can use any multicolor look, and any multicolor wig will go just fine. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. Please make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will be having many more before Halloween up for you guys. Stay beautiful, stay blessed, and stay lovely. Talk to you guys later. Bye!